Hello friends, Megha here. Welcome back to my tutorial series on Android. If you have been following this Android tutorial series, you would know that we were on the step to add the buttons to our app Simple Counter. If you haven't, you can follow the series using the link given in the description box below. In our previous video, we added both of our buttons to the activity main.xml file using the steps 1 to 4 as mentioned here. Let's go and run the app once more to see how they look before we proceed to adding the actions for those buttons. Open the Simple Counter project in Android Studio. Click on Run. Now we can see the text view and the buttons. When we click on these buttons, the value of the text view doesn't change. These buttons needs an action associated with them. On clicking increment button, we want the value of the text view to increase, and on clicking the decrement button, we want the value of the text view to decrease. There are two ways using which we can add actions to the buttons. First one is using the Android onClick attribute, and the second one is the set onClick listener. For the first button, we will implement the button event using the Android onClick method. For the second button, we will use the set onClick listener. Let's go back to the project in Android Studio. Open your main activity.java file. First, create a global variable counter. Counter will be used to store the current value of text view and then update it. Next, create a function public void increment counter brackets view import the view class. Here, adding parameters of type view is important to distinguish this method from other similar methods. Inside the method, first assign the current value of text view to the counter variable using the getText method. Now you can see that the getText method returns a char sequence, but our variable counter is of type integer, so we need to convert this char sequence into integer. For that, first typecast this char sequence to string. Now use the integer.parseInt method to convert this string into integer. Next, increment the value of the counter. Using the text view's setText method, update the current value of text view to counter. The counter variable is of integer type and the setText method takes a string or char sequence as input. Therefore, we convert it into string using the string.valueOf method. Now, open activity_main.xml file. Switch to the text tab. In the increment button, add Android onClick equal to increment counter in double quotation marks. Here we are assigning the name of increment counter to the Android's onClick attribute, which makes sure that only the method increment counter will be executed whenever the user clicks on this button. So now one of our buttons is all set. Why don't we test it using the emulator? Now when we click the plus button, the value of the counter should increase. So what are we waiting for? Click on Run. Click on the plus button. You see the value in the text view is increasing. Next method is using the set onClick listener. This method is used to handle events on button programmatically rather than using the XML. It is useful when we want to handle the button action at runtime or button is a part of fragment. Like the increment counter method, we need a decrement counter method to decrease the value of the counter. So instead of writing the whole code, we will just copy this code, change increment counter to decrement counter, remove the view arguments, and change the counter plus plus to counter minus minus. Next, we need to add a set onClick listener on our button. So in the activities onCreate method, write decrement button dot set onClick listener. In the double brackets, write new view.onClickListener. It automatically adds the remaining code, the overridden method public void onClickView. Inside the onClick method, we add a call to the decrement counter method. Here we override view onClickListener's own onClick method. So when a user clicks on the minus button, a call goes to this onClick button, which calls the decrement counter function, and the decrement counter function decreases the value of text view and updates the text view. Let's see this in action. Run the app now. First, we will increment the value from 0 to 1 using the plus button. Now click the minus button. You can see that the value becomes 0, then -1, then -2, and so on. Now we know how to add buttons and how to handle button events. So far we added the text views and the buttons and didn't think about their positions or the layout of them on the screen. So in our next video we will have a brief intro to the layouts and study linear layout in detail. That's all for this session. See you all in the next session. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, comments or suggestions, leave them in the comment section below.